Hello everyone, welcome back to D3 Crashout. So, there is a crashout one day to come about risk management and actually in load management as well. So, balancing the things that you have to do, the things that you want to do, and the actual worth of those things because your time is an investment. It's a resource to be managed. But I was playing poker. you know, Classic gambling moment out of me. I started gambling a lot more when I went to college, also because it's legal now. But I I've heard this phrase often where you want to hope for the worst. I mean, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. And I don't know if this is a super common phrase. I might just be living in a bubble. But what that has always meant to me is assume the best. Well, not always. What I think that means is assume the best out of the things to come, right? You want to succeed, but be ready for the worst case scenario. And that's how you manage risk, right? It's you're aware of what could go wrong. You're willing to accept if something goes wrong. And that worst case scenario of something that goes wrong is something that you can live with. Like, hopefully, you're not in a life or death situation where if something goes wrong, like if you lose your job, it's impossible for you to ever get another one, get back on your feet. You have no insurance, you have nobody who is backing you, and it's just all over. I hope that's not your situation. But in order to gain anything, you need to take a risk. In poker, that means you bet for your odds. So let's say well, this is not poker advice. Play however you want. Fun fact: playing good poker, right, making good, sound, reasonable, logical decisions doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win at poker because it is a luck-based game. And just because something is very likely doesn't mean that it's going to happen. So something to think about. But same goes for life. Just because you make a really good decision doesn't mean it's going to pay off. It just means it's more likely to pay off. Right? It's the S&P 500. It's very stable. Over the course of 7 years, it's been shown to double over the past 52 years, I think. Or like what, 110 in cycle? And that doesn't mean that it's going to double. Like the US economy could just collapse, right? Money is based off of confidence or trust, and it comes and goes just as a society. Right? We don't have gold backings anymore. There's quadrillions of money that is just racked up and I think in debt. And not quadrillions. I think we're still in the 100 trillions for America, but that's between multiple countries, and that trust that's never going to be likely paid back, but that the money is going to be put to good use, and that they're going to continue to try to pay off that money, and that they at least are going to continue to make installments and payments of that money, is where the confidence comes from. That's where the trust is. So, that being said, no country right now is ready for the worst case scenario, whereas a country demands that they get all of their money up front and they're able to pay that off. But they are ready for the worst case scenario where a country demands that money and you're unable to pay it up, but you are able to go to war. So, more stuff to think about. But how this might translate to your life is if I'm in the poker room and I'm deciding to bet $20, I need to be okay with losing $20 as I walk in, which is a conscious decision that I make because I think the $20 buy-in is as low as I go. You know, me spending time playing poker is worth less than the money that I'm betting playing poker. That being said, I'm down double, right? I could have been working during that time, and then I go and play poker and I lose money, so I'm down 40 instead of how I'm getting paid 20 an hour. But you know, I enjoy playing poker, so it's more like you're paying for the experience, and for somebody else's joy and happiness. But also go in there. I don't want to lose my money. I'm gonna hope that I get more money than I came in with. Like that's the love of gambling, right? And that's the same thing with any risk you take. Like I go into the gym often. Whoa, lifting. And there's always a chance that I tear a bicep or even worse, I go into cardiac arrest and it's just over after my blood pressure spike. Or that if I'm in my car and for some reason something goes off and I manage to shock myself or my engine blows up, that I just die. Or that somebody just kills me on the road. But I think that's unlikely. And I'm willing to take that risk in order to drive. because it's faster. And I hope that I don't fucking die every time I get in my car, but it might happen. And people have a crumple zone in your car, and you have your airbags checked, and I'm maximizing my odds of survival. And that's me preparing for the worst. It's making sure that my car is functional and that there might be an accident, even if I don't think there is going to be one. Just because something is unlikely to happen doesn't mean that you shouldn't prepare for it. And if you decide not to, you need to be willing to assume that risk. And I don't feel like that's something that a lot of people consciously think about. They're like, oh, this is relatively safe. Like, it's never perfectly safe. And I'm sure I could make another crash out about like inductive versus deductive arguments, I believe. I might be using the wrong terminology. It's been a minute. But basically, some things are for certain, right? It's not guaranteed that I'm actually going to wake up day to day. I could get cancer at any moment. You get cancer like a cancer cell every 5 minutes. And if your immune system ever misses one, well, it's over. It's outside of my control, though. I choose to just not care. I'll try to minimize my odds of getting cancer. I'll try not to get the bacon with the nitrites in it. I try not to actively expose myself to a lot of carcinogens, even if I do, of course, contribute to global warming. I am fit and active, and that means that I'm regenerating more cells, which means it is more likely for me to develop more cancer cells, but I also eat things that support my immune system and expose myself to environments that damage me, hopefully, in the good ways. And that also helps my immune system, helps to deal with cancer. So it's something to think about where, yes, I am future-proofing myself for cancer, no matter how unlikely, and I hope that I never do get cancer, but some of it is outside of my control. I have an uncle, and he was doing everything right. He was eating really well, a good balance of veggies and meats. He was super good about his diet, like genuinely tracked everything down to the letter. He slept well at night. He has a great family, but he's kind of an off guy, so he's not like super close with them. But still, like his family's doing well for themselves, and he's making a lot of money, and he's at a pretty low stress job. Well, every job comes with stresses, but still, he's not, on his ass every day. And he still got cancer. Anyways, and he biked. Sorry, I should say that he biked professionally, and he still does, but on his e-bike now. But he was a really good biker, and he still got cancer, lung cancer. Didn't smoke, never. Still, didn't matter. Slept well every night, minimum 6 hours. Still, got cancer. Like he drank, but barely, like ever. He barely drank. Less than 4 times a year. Still got cancer, and that's just the unfairness of it. It's always going to be that way, right? Life does not owe you life. Life is a privilege. Risks are risks because they have an increased likelihood based off of a certain population out there. There's your stats of something happening. But how that population gets represented is almost seemingly arbitrary, right? It's like, this could be someone out there that drinks and drives every day and they don't crash and they don't get brain damage and like they're just perfectly fine. But alcohol has been shown to decrease cognitive function, especially with continued use. And also, people who drive intoxicated are more likely to crash. Doesn't mean they're going to. It just means it's more likely to happen. You're increasing your odds. So, I hope that makes sense, at least about the cause and effect-ish nature of things, and also with the difference between that cause and effect, which would be deductive, right? Like this thing has to cause this thing, which is correlation, where it's like if ice cream goes up when people also dying goes up, then you would say that they are strongly correlated, as in they move in a similar way, they change in a similar way. So the whole point of that was, yes, shooting people, it's very likely to kill them. And if you shoot someone in the brain, also very likely to die. You could say that shooting people kills people, which is true. But if I do all the right things for my body, it's highly correlative. And there is elements of cause and effect where I'm going to survive and I'm going to live longer. And it's going to help me. But it doesn't guarantee that I do. And that guaranteed nature of things, that cause and effect that we're used to, cause and effect refers to likelihood more often than not. Then this guarantees this. Like I can start a fire with sufficient activation energy, like a spark, and the wood's going to burn. Cause and effect. The wood's going to burn for sure. How much of the wood burns? It's likely that the majority of it burns, but it's not guaranteed. Maybe there just wasn't enough available oxygen at the moment. Maybe I cut it short, whatever. Like covering the fire and, and reducing its access to oxygen puts out the fire for sure. How quickly it puts out the fire, it changes. It depends, right? Like maybe there's a breeze blowing. So I'm going down a rabbit hole. Safe enough to say that this was not a lecture about things that are guaranteed or is not guaranteed. I'm also trying not to teach you how to gamble, even though I think gambling's fun. But risk management and thinking things of people. I think a really good example of this is I had an ex that, liked to drink, and she liked to do weed, and smoke, and she was really particular about her health, and this is very weird. Like you care so much about your health, and then you just do drugs and alcohol. But that was a risk that she was willing to take. That it was more fun in the moment, and she didn't care about how it might influence her body, or her mind, or her physical state over an elongated period of time. Like she wasn't really good about sleeping, and she was really good about eating well, but not good about sleeping, not good about exercise, not good about honestly doing alcohol or marijuana in moderation. And I always assumed the best of her. I wanted her to get better, and I wanted her to be healthy and live a long life. Like I don't think anyone would want their girlfriend to die. I think that would be pretty messed up. But she never did, and eventually she broke up with me because she felt that pressure, that judgment from me. I have other notes to say about like you should not encourage behavior that you don't want to see. Like you should be pretty clear that if someone's doing stuff that just blatantly makes you unhappy, you have no right to just let it slide. Like you should tell them, but you also they don't owe your feedback or your advice. They don't have to listen to you. But if you put it out there and they don't listen to you, you also don't have to stay. So free will stuff. But I always wanted the best for her. I didn't want her to get hurt. I didn't want her to be stupid and like drink and drive. But I hoped that she was able to have her fun and live her own life and make her own mistakes, and that she eventually would realize like, oh, maybe I shouldn't drink till I throw up every time, or maybe I shouldn't always do the edibles and then smoke and then wait till it all hits me like a truck, and then I'm really hungry and I eat like 2 Caniac combos, and then I have to drive at 5 in the morning and I'm so hungover or high, because edibles, they last a while. I think it's because you're a digestive tract. It's just they stay in your bloodstream for a bit. But yeah, just don't. Sorry, not just don't this, just don't that. But I hope for the best for her, and it never happened. And I was ready for the worst, as in like I was mentally preparing myself to break up with her, which is something I've never done, and I still haven't done to this day. I've never broken up with someone, and it's because I usually push that. I hope that someone gets better too far, and I don't set personal boundaries. And this time will be different. Next time I get a girlfriend, guys, I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, it's just that risk management. Like I believed in her. I hope that I thought that she would be better, and I thought very highly of her as a person. And I would like to say I still do, but she hasn't changed. Well, at least to my knowledge, right? I can only heal by moving on. I just stopped talking to her entirely, and I disassociated from all of her friends. I'm like, that's how I heal. I just empty the bucket, and I live my own life. But it didn't change anything about me. I still wanted her to be the best version of herself. I feel like I'm going in circles. But I don't know if this is meaning anything to you. But the worst case scenario in that relationship, look, I can control myself. I can choose not to do alcohol or marijuana, or if I do, I can decide to do it in moderation. And she never like roped me into her bullshit. She just got mad at me for judging her, which is her right. Even if it was unjustified, I'm like, I still chose her as my girlfriend, and that's on me. And I was ready for the worst, which was she breaks up with me. That was the worst in my scenario. I never thought that she'd kill me, and she never did. And she never drove me drunk either. So, all right, I was able to control that. I drive myself. I stay sober. So, and she's fun. All right, she had her fun. She continues to have her fun. She's gonna continue to have her fun and live her best life. And that's just not what I wanted for myself. And that's best for us both. She doesn't want someone who's always judging her in her corner, who says that, hey, I want to support your life and your happiness. And she was okay because she's a very independent person. And that's why she never listened to my feedback, but it's also why she was able to break up with me and move on. Because, well, she supports herself. And I'm not like that. I need my family to support me. I need my friends. I like people. I'm social. And I've had the worst case scenario happen to me before where I lost all my friends and I still have my family. And frankly, I'm not ready to lose my family. But that the worst case scenario is out there someday, and that's why I'm working hard to be able to support myself. So, yeah. I hope my family never dies. I just know that's not realistic. I hope my family doesn't die tomorrow, but in case they do, I want to be sure that I spend as much time with them as I can. Also, because it makes me happy now. Right? I like my family. They're cool. So, a lot of people don't like that cryptic notion of, oh, our family's going to die tomorrow. And that we should spend more time with them. The time's only special because it's limited. But that's always like that. Like, oh, this little boo-boo is special because it's so hard to get. Like, yeah, people put value on things that are scarce. I'm like, everyone gets food. It's not that valuable, even though we need it. Everyone needs water. In America, we don't really care about water because it's like super accessible. You know, it's at public parks and stuff. Other places, if you might have to travel 2 miles to go to a well and then you have to walk back, like, they value water more and they care about it. So it says stuff about humanity, and it's completely normal to actually view things as a commodity, you know, like attractive people. But yeah. So, like, am I saying prepare for the doomsday apocalypse and be ready for it all to come crashing down? I mean, if you can afford it, sure, just go for it. But for me, nice. The risk is too high because I'm just poor to buy all those survival things and then they expire. Then to just live my life as is. Like, that's a risk that I'm assuming that if the zombie apocalypse breaks out, I'm not prepared. I don't got no guns or anything. But yeah. So that's my rant. That's honestly all I have to say on it. That's why I did D3 Crashout. I think it's just stuff that I like talking about and putting out into the universe. But yeah, hope for the best and be prepared for the worst. Right? You don't want to get left stranded with all your eggs in one basket and then you can't just possibly recover from it. You know, you need to have that balance of being able to recover from your actions, hopefully. And maybe that's a risk you're willing to take, that I'm all in on something and I think that it could grow a lot, like a startup, like a company, and I'm willing to take a pay cut for that at the chance that whatever my slice of the company is going to grow significantly more than if I was to do the traditional route and go to a well-documented company, which I get shares over time and I have a certain pay package. You know, that's something you think about. So it's just a note on risk management. So that's about it. All right, I'm gonna let this play out, but I'm just rambling now. Bye bye.